As the race between traditional banks and fintechs intensifies, United Bank for Africa is stepping up its game with bold innovations in digital banking. Now, from unveiling a next-generation POS terminal to revamping its money app for SMEs across 20 African countries, the bank says it is redefining possibilities in retail banking. Joining me now is Fashola, who is Group Head of Retail and Digital Banking at UBA, who will be sharing details on the bank's efforts towards staying ahead in a fast-evolving digital payments landscape. Shamsuddin, many thanks for joining the show this morning.
Yeah, thank you.
Right, let's get right into it. Most welcome. You're always most welcome. Well, I mean, UBA has taken a really bold step in unveiling its improved point-of-sale terminal, especially at a time where, fintechs have asserted their influence. Let's talk about why the bank embarked on this initiative and what you hope to achieve.
Thank you very much, Abby. We actually embark on this journey to give our customers what they truly deserve. As you're all aware, UBA is at the forefront of innovation in Nigeria, and we pride ourselves as customer first. So whatever our customers need is what we give to them. What we're unveiling today is our new RedPay POS terminal. It's not just a POS terminal, it's a payment and collection solution that meets the needs of our customers out there. Who are these customers we're talking about here? We're talking about our merchant who uses, the merchant who uses this terminal for collection. The customers who are paying through those terminals. What do? We've gone back to the drawing table, look at what the customers are looking at for. The merchants, they want to have access to their fund. They want to be able to do transactions seamlessly. They want to deal with the fraud that we see in the industry. They want to be able to, they want to have their settlements done on time and real time. And what about the individuals using those terminals? They want to be able to use that terminal seamlessly. They want to have the confidence that when they use that terminal, the transaction will go through. All that is what we've packaged together to launch this new RedPay.
All right, so it's certainly quite a myriad of requests and demands on the part of customers, so it's great to see you doing that. But let's look now at the revamped Money app. How do you intend to enhance businesses for SMEs in Africa, particularly across the 20 African countries you're operating in?
Thank you very much. Just a little bit of some statistics to put this in perspective. There are over 300 million unbanked population in Africa. Nigeria accounts for about 29 million of that 300 million. That means there is so much opportunity for financial inclusion. And what the Money app, the UBA Money app does is to empower individuals to go into deep rural areas and bank this unbanked population. Prior to now, our Money app has some restrictions around how far it can go, what it can do. Now, today, it has the capability to open an account for you anywhere you are in Nigeria and the rest of Africa. And what that does for us is financial inclusion, right? All we are doing as the industry and also the fintechs is to focus on the city centers where we see people that are very literate, the infrastructure is very good. But our new UBA Money app allows you to go to deep rural areas and bank the unbanked population. You're not just banking them, you're also giving them that capacity to do transactions right there where they are.
So we hope to see a lot more seamlessness with this process.
Correct.
Well, I mean, let's look at some of the key selling points for fintech POS. We can't have this conversation without, talking about fintechs. One of the key selling points for them has been the 100% success rate when it comes to executing transactions. Does UBA, hope to, or are you poised to, let me rephrase the question, to, take this unique selling point even a notch higher?
Thank you very much. Our new RedPay terminal or payment solution is not just about giving you the 100% success rate, and I'll explain how that works. We're also going a notch further in terms of what it delivers. How do we make this happen? Today, proud to know what used to be the story is, so I do transactions, it continues to roll, it's not completed, I get debited, and the transaction is not consummated. So we've gone back to look at our technology and redesign it from bottom up, what they call from bottom up. And typically what that does for us is when you do your transaction today, it goes through. Now from that merchant location, the merchant can tell you this bank card you're bringing, the bank is not up at this moment. And what does that do for you? It empowers the merchant to say, give me another card because your bank is not up right now. All those information are right there on the terminal. So it helps the merchant not only just to ensure you have 100% success rate, to also tell his own customer, please use another card so that your transaction does not fail. So and beyond that, we also, on that terminal, the merchant can track their transactions. So prior to now, so what used to happen is I do transaction, I wait for settlement. So when transaction fails, for example, you then wait for the next day to be able to sort it out. Right now, right on the terminal, transactions are reflected instantly. So you can tell the customer, oh, your transaction has failed, and I can just say, okay, use another bank terminal. You don't have to wait till next day or go back to your bank to go and complain. That's usually a cliche that you get.
Yeah, I can tell you that's quite a pain going through that process, because I've been through it quite a number of times. So both ease and speed, as well as transparency, which is very key. You can see that right away. Let's talk about instant settlement, which is a relatively new feature in the industry. UBA is certainly one of the earliest adopters when we look at traditional banks. Could you talk me through how this model works exactly?
Okay. To explain it and put it in perspective, let's go a step back and explain what used to happen before now. So what used to happen is transactions are done, customers, the merchants would then wait for their settlement the next day, right? And then when they get the settlement the next day, they get funded the next day. What NIPS has done is to also increase the clearing period. So today, we have a 4 settlement period or clearing period, which makes it a lot easier for banks to then confirm that those transactions are successful. So what we have done from technology standpoint is to create what we call a wallet, a collection wallet. So as transactions are happening, the merchant can see it instantly. And because you can see it instantly, we also empower you to move that money from that collection wallet to your primary account. So you can do instant settlement on your own. So the power is in your hands as a merchant. In addition to that, if you don't want to be doing that every time that you want to move money, we also put in place every 3-hourly settlement period. So every 3 hours, we move that money from your collection wallet account to your primary account. So we give you instant settlement if you want to do it yourself. And if you want the bank to do it for you, we do it periodically for you. Every 3 hours, we fund your account with the collections so far for that day. So that way, you are absolutely in control of your collection. Again, what does that do for the merchants? Cash flow. People need that cash flow to restock, to do other businesses. So make that happen today. Thank you.
Now, this sounds very seamless for the merchant. Like, this is something that we've always, sought to achieve. But what are some of the challenges that you face at your end, and some of the stumbling blocks in terms of achieving instant settlement, and how, more importantly, are these resolved?
Okay, thank you very much. So typically what happens is, till today, and that problem still exists, from the cash flow standpoint, I said we get settled from central bank T+1. That is, every transaction that is done today, we get refunded the next day. But what we have done is to take that pain on ourselves to allow our customers to have access to their fund. Without getting those reimbursements for those transactions, we give customers access to that fund. It's a cost on us, but we think it's what our customers need and what they deserve, so we provide that. In addition to that, from the technology standpoint, we've also created that central wallet solution. So we've separated your collection account and your primary account. So all your transactions actually go into your wallet collection account. So you can see it instantly, you can take decision, you can resolve a lot of dispute, which is a major problem for a merchant, right? They can resolve all those issues instantly, because on this terminal here, you can just click on it. As soon as transactions are done, you see the status of that transaction. So what it does is successful or failed. And right there, you can take that decision. So it allows you to do instant settlement and also clear all dispute-related issues right there in your shop.
So in all of this process, there is no additional cost that the merchant incurs in the process?
Okay, and that's the interesting part. So we've also looked at the cost part. What we found out in the market is that two broad segment of customers. Customers with very thin margin but high volume. Some have good margin but relatively low volume. So our pricing is very flexible so that it takes into consideration your type of business. So in terms of pricing, we're very flexible, and we always negotiate those prices with customers.
Well, that's refreshing to hear. Let's talk about, financial fraud now, which seems to be quite rife. Millions, if I'm probably underestimating, it could be billions that have been lost by Nigerians. How does UBA's new POS system, seek to tackle pervasive fraud issues, fake alerts, chargeback scams, things like that?
Okay. I'm happy you mentioned those examples. Those are the two major fraud that we see in collection today, fake alerts and chargeback fraud. Now, how do they happen? Fake alert, for example. So customers claim that they've paid you some money and they send an alert to you, and you then want to log on to your bank app or you want to check whether those transactions are done and all that. So let's roll back a little bit. What used to happen when customers pay by transfer is that you transfer the money to your merchant, and somebody has to go to the bank app to go and check whether those transactions are successful. So what happens today is that as soon as you do pay by transfer, this terminal is alerted. So it either prints out your receipt. If you don't get the receipt, if you want to print the receipt, you click on an icon here, and it shows you that that transaction is successful. So you're not even relying on those alerts or SMS to confirm that transaction. You're actually seeing it. So from the teller's position, not even from the owners of the shop, right? That teller that is received during that transaction can actually confirm the status of that transaction. So that totally eliminates that fake alert fraud. Now, on the chargeback fraud, again, transaction is consummated, you go back to your bank that, no, this transaction is not successful. And then if merchants don't respond on time, the bank then charges this money back to them. Now, today, like I said, there is auto-reconciliation. And what used to happen then is you have 3,000 transactions, and you are going through like all of them to check whether this one is successful and all that. Right now, on this terminal and the platform that we give to merchants to monitor the transaction, you can auto-reconcile. In less than 5 minutes, you can say, no, this transaction is not successful, and you reject it. It is successful, rather, and you reject it instantly. So that fraud is almost eliminated with this new technology.
So that auto-reconciliation is certainly quite key. I think that would be literally making all the difference there. But, you know, information, they say, is key. You know, many merchants are not as tech savvy. I'm one of those merchants who is not as tech savvy. Let's talk about what you're doing educationally for the public. What processes is UBA involved in? This is one of them, you know, talking to the public, but on a more granular level, how are you sensitizing the public about financial fraud?
Okay, so what we do is to engage our customers on a continuous basis. Every customer that we deploy this solution to, we take them through that training to understand how this works. But beyond that, the way we've designed this technology, we use what is called human-centered design methodology. What that means is that we're not just giving you this terminal. The terminal comes with icon and label. So even if you are not very lettered or very tech-savvy, you can just follow those icons and you can do your transaction. You can download your report. You can check the status of transaction. Just about anybody can do it. If you can operate a phone, you can actually operate this terminal. That's the way it's designed. It's human-centered design methodology, which makes it a lot easier for customers to use. In terms of how do we educate customers, I said we train customers, of course, to go out here to just also engage customers, to create those awareness. And we have our staff that is allocated to every merchant that we deploy these terminals to. If you have any concerned queries, we're always there to support you.
All right. Well, so, you know, another important question, I'm sure a lot of you want to know, processing fees. That has been the bane of all bankers, you know, existence. Let's put it that way. I hope I'm not exaggerating this. You know, SMEs have frequently complained about processing fees, which naturally pushes them towards fintechs as an alternative, isn't it? How does UBA plan to attract this segment of users?
Okay, so like I said earlier on, our fees are very competitive and flexible because we recognize that not all customers have the same margin on every transaction. So we've designed it in such a way that we engage customers and literally they determine what to pay, so to say, by looking at different buckets where they fall into. And we have a mixed match of the fees and the floats that comes in, for those who understand how that works. But the fees and float, and the customer can determine how they want to pay and how they want to do. But it's very, very flexible and competitive. I can say that. Which
I would expect is the, you know, direction in which UBA is trying to go. You know, we have less than a minute left, and of course, I just want to wrap up with what your overall vision is with putting this out there. Of course, innovation. We talk about fintechs being, you know, perceived as leaders of innovation. How does UBA seek to position itself, leveraging on your legacy advantages as well? Very briefly.
Okay, so our view of the market is that this is the opportunity is huge, and it's all about collaboration. Today, I power almost all the big fintechs in Nigeria today because we've seen that opportunity of collaboration. We are not in competition because the opportunity is out there. So we work with fintechs to deliver this. This solution was actually developed in conjunction with our fintech partner called RedPay. So in everything that we do, we work with the fintechs and give the greatest value to our customers out there.
All right, so it's great to see collaboration working for, you know, progress. If you're just joining us, I've been chatting with Shamsuddin Fashola, who is Group Head Retail and Digital Banking at United Bank for Africa. Many thanks, Shamsuddin, for joining us today. We'll see you again very soon.